Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and this is part 3 of the build series for this building here. And part 3 is going to be the final part. We will be doing a little bit of weathering, light weathering, and we will be adding in some decals just to kind of make the warehouse a warehouse. So in part 1 was basically the start of the roof. Part 2 was the painting and the windows, like the little details here. And then part 3 will be weathering. So what I will be using is, these are the Vallejo paints. There's actually, it's like an 8-pack I think. These are the Vallejo paints rusting paint set. And they're actually made for airbrush, but since this is going to be a smaller model and I'm not covering an entire surface, I'm just going to be dabbing it on with like a paper towel, and it dries up and it looks just as nice. So for these I'll be using the surface primer first. I always start off with this, the dark color. It's like a dark red. Then from there you just kind of dab on the other colors until you get a desired look. And like I said, this is an 8-pack, so there's all sorts of. Let's see if I can grab one. Let's see if I can grab one. So there's plenty more colors here. And so you just kind of dab and add on what you like. This is actually a little O-gauge truck I did for, this is O-gauge. This is a little O-gauge truck I did. These are the paints I used, but I used the airbrush. So as you can see, it's kind of like when you do a full surface and you kind of layer up the paints, it'll turn out looking like this. And this will eventually be on the layout. I'll probably put it over by the farm. That little truck there, but I haven't really gotten into it. So I'll be using those paints, and then I will also be using these chalks. And I actually got these chalks from Hobby Lobby, and I think it was like $10 for all of these, which I think is pretty good. This will be dry brushing, and then what I'll probably be using is I'll use the white for the roof to show some water streaking. Then I'll go back with like the black, and I'll do some streaking on the front. I think it's a good deal. It's like $10 for all of these. So far it's lasted me a couple projects, so that's a good deal there. And I'll be using some of these decals. I'm gonna make my own decals for the name of the place, but I'll probably be using these parts, service, and repairs. I'll be using all these 3 right here. Probably whatever this is, this section 6, and then probably I'll choose some random ones right here, just advertisements, or kind of like what the building will advertise. So we'll start off with the chalks first, and then I'm also, since the overhangs hang out a little too much, I'll be using these. I cut out these out of styrene, and it's kind of angled at the end here, so it'll look like supports. And these will be painted the same color as the building, and I will do a little bit of rusting on those too. So the first step will be the chalks, and then we will get to the rust. Alrighty, so now we will be doing the weathering first with the chalks. So this is the way I like to do it with the chalks. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way, it's just the way I find easiest. So just as a reminder, I have a little desk fan. If you do too, when you're using these powders, make sure that your fan is either positioned up or away, because I made the mistake where I took off the chalk, put it on, and then I walked in front of it, and it blew the plate, and all the chalk went everywhere. And yeah, so just remember to do that first. Make sure your fan's out of the way, or this one has like a setting where it can be positioned up, so have it positioned up. So to get the chalk, what I like to do is just to get it into like little particles, I like to grab a hobby knife. You could also use, well, this is an X-Acto knife. You could also use a box cutter knife or something with a blade. You even use a pocket knife, and you kind of just want to go, see if it'll focus. Just kind of want to go in like that and just kind of rub with the blade. Don't want to cut anything. And so, let me see if I can. So you kind of just want to go. So you can see the little particles starting to go. And you want to do that lightly. You don't want to do the whole chalk stick. You want to save it for, maybe other projects. And then, once you have, I don't know, fair amount on there, like I said, you can always go back. You could add more if you wanted to. You go here. Then you grab a paintbrush. One that's fluffy, not too hard, like this one. And then, so when you do the first couple swipes, obviously it's not going to show you gotta do it a little over, and like the box shows, I'm just gonna do a little streaking down. So you put some fair amount, and you want to go start doing strokes. And the first couple passes, you'll barely see it. That's where you kind of want to layer it. And as you can see, you can start to see it showing. And you can do as much as you want, as little as you want, just whatever you think. I might go in with a little bit of other colors. This is the black color. As you can see, it shows nicely. I may go back a couple times just to make it a little bit darker. But you just kind of do this, and then once you're done and you got all your stuff the desired way you want, you go back with some clear coat and you spray it over. I'll mask over the windows here, not that big of a deal, but the windows are already fogged. But anyways, you go over clear coat that way to seal this in, because over time, if you go to pick up the building, your fingers will start to rub it off. So yeah, you want to go back with some clear coat and seal it. Trust me, it makes a difference, especially in locomotives. When I weathered my HO scale one, I did no clear coat and it started to come off, and so I was talking to a couple people and they were like, yeah, just clear coat it, and they kind of helped me clean up the weathering on it. And so yeah, you just want to clear coat. You want to clear coat everything to make sure that the powder will stay on and it won't start to go away over time, and then you have to redo it, because that would suck. So I'm going to start right here and just do a little bit of streaks, and then I'll go with white on the roof, and you do the same technique, just a little bit at a time. And what's good about the chalk is you get a wet paper towel and you could get most of it off. So if you don't like it, before you seal it, because once you seal it, it's a done deal. It's going to be hard. You'll try to sand it, but then it'll just, as soon as you seal it, it's a done deal. You want to be happy with it and where you have it at. So I'm going to go finish this. I'll go show you guys the process midway through of what it looks like. Alrighty, so if you see my workbench is a little messy because, well, we are doing some weathering. So if you look at the front of the building here, I did the weathering with the streaking going down, and I noticed when I put the matte coat on, because the weathering is supposed to be black, but it came out gray for some reason with this black, and when I was doing the matte coat on, it started to make the weathering disappear. So I had to do layer on layer on layer and do matte coat, matte coat, matte coat, until finally it came out this black color, and I like the way it looks. I also, as you can see here, taped over the windows. I added this little sign here. And then, over here, as you can see the garage, I used some of those rust paints, and all I did was get a little paper towel here. I poured the paints on here for how on my chalks. I dabbed it, and what you do is you just very lightly, all you really need is just that much, and I'll show you on here. What you do is you just dab it. You can see. Just very lightly. You just dab it very lightly, and you can do that a couple times. I ended up doing that with what I used this red, this rust, whatever it is. It's just how it does rust, and I used this orange. And as you can see, with the orange, I accidentally got a little too crazy, and actually it got up a little up here, but I think it looks good. Now on the side here, I'm doing some work. I added more signs, more like advertisement things, and with those, I went over with the chalk. And for the signs, what I also used, I used a black wash. So basically, what I did was put black paint, mixed it in with water, and turned it into a black wash. And you just go over the object, and it will dull it out. Now, as you see here, you don't need to make perfect cutouts to mask over your windows. Just like these will do, it'll work. So this is a work in progress. And one of the next things I'm going to do too is with these thin, so I love styrene. Styrene's what I used up here, or polystyrene is what it's actually called. This is what I used for the roof, and they have all different sorts of shapes. So there's these, I think it's .060. Oh, here we go. It's 1.5 millimeter. They're the long, it's almost like a rectangle looking thing. What I did was I cut them, and at each end I cut out like a slant. See? I cut it out like a slant, so that way I can go in here, and what I'll do is, see these? And then because the overhangs are so long, I'll just glue them in place. and they're supposed to look like they're supporting the overhang. So just drop that one off to grab it. So what I end up doing with those is I'll probably paint them. I'll paint them the same color. I'll paint them the same color as the building. And the Tamiya paint I use, heads up, if you use, oh sorry, it's not the Tamiya paint. It actually is Mr. Hobby, Mr. Cement Deluxe. And if you use this stuff, you do run a risk of taking some paint off on the building if you move around the object too much so you have glued. So I will use tweezers, put a little bit of dab should work, and just kind of go through. I'm going to have one on each side and two in the middle. So that's where we're at. I got the front, the sides done. Just got to do this side and the back. I'll give you guys an update once I get these little stilt things up, and yeah. Alright, sorry guys for the background noise. I have my fan on, but the building is finished. Part 3 will obviously be the last part, and I think the building came out pretty good considering what we started with. As you can see in the front from this angle at least, we got the streaking, and yes, I put on the supports. So as you can see here, the supports here are, I tried to space them as evenly as I could. Obviously these are spaced different than the supports here because of the different window configuration, but I think when it's put in different kind of, I don't know, it kind of adds to the whole factory kind of feel of it. I added some more white stuff to the roof, more white powder. I dog coated all 4 sides, and in the back here I pretty much did what I did at the front but scaled it down a little. As you can see, I rusted the garage door. It doesn't look exactly like the front. And I put that little paint trick I did at the bottom here just like the front, and I even added some black up top. And on the sides here, you can see I didn't really know what to put on the building. I still have to print out labels for what it's actually going to be named, but in the meantime it's just going to be a blank building. And when I do put labels, I'll obviously release something showing you what it looks like with the labels. And as you see on this side, I just did a couple of the decals, just some advertisements I thought maybe someone would post. And then right there again, you saw this. Here's the front. And underneath these, inside of these buildings, obviously won't be as pretty. So this is what the inside looks like. As you can see, there's paint splatter, even big droop from super glue. That's when I used Gorilla Glue, which dripped a lot more than I thought it would. And I always recommend too is painting the inside, painting this part here. I wasn't sure if I would have to or if I would want to. I ended up doing it just because it looks a lot better. When you look at it, you can tell it's actually it looks like a real building. And obviously I did not go the other way. I just went as far as I thought I would need to, and that was far enough. Obviously, if your windows were not smoked and you wanted to see the inside, you'd want to clean it up a little bit better. This is just a little messy because the windows are smoked, but I think it will look good once the light shines through. Once the light shines through it. So thank you guys for sticking along for all 3 parts. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it gave you guys any ideas. Like again, if you have any tips for the future builds, let me know. Just leave a comment. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day.